What's up, you guys? We are back for Ladies of London. I'm trying to get caught up. We are behind, but this is episodes 4 no 4 and 5 episodes 4 and 5. No, child, hold on, let me make sure I got it right. I think it's episode. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, so sorry. It's episodes 4 and 5, so I have to change the title. I put 3 and 4. I have to change the title to 4 and 5. And then tonight I watch the next two. I'll watch 6 and 7 and try to get caught up. We're gonna try to get caught up. I know I'm still behind on Beverly Hills, the finale, which it was boring. So I've been struggling through it, child. It's more of the read. I'm sick of them. We're gonna get through. We're gonna struggle. We're gonna struggle through this reunion because I still don't know how we got 3 parts out of this season. But okay. But anyway, this is Ladies of London, which I still think is hilarious because Mark is like the narrator and he is not a lady. Okay. But where we left off was after Mitzi's wine country situation, where she told the ladies about her brother being unalived, and the other lady shared, they shared about their parents having cancer, and it was a whole avalanche of emotional situation. In the car on the way home, Kimmy was very vocal about how she was over it. Like, that ain't what I came for. Like, I don't understand why we had to sit there and pour our hearts out. Like, her sharing that story about her brother just opened up the door, and it just wasn't a fun afternoon for me. Now, I'm gonna be honest, if Kimmy had said that and left it there, I might not have an issue with that, because I could understand what she was saying. Like, damn, like, we were having a good time, and now everybody crying, everybody pouring out their horror stories, their family sick, and my brother was this, and my daddy was that, and like, I get it. The problem I have with Miss Kimmy is she took it a step further when she tried to basically blow off what happened to Mitzi with her brother being unalived in front of his family by basically saying, well, it was a drug deal gone bad. Like, you have to expect that that's what's going to happen when you're in that lifestyle. Like, what is the big deal? Why are we upset about it? And my thing is, at the end of the day, it was still her brother. Like, and maybe that's why she doesn't open up about it, because she knows that her brother may not have been an innocent person in this, but his kids were innocent. The family was innocent. She still lost a brother, and that just with Kimmy, I was like, girl, and I liked Kimmy, right? I don't know how I feel about Kimmy right now, but before this, I really liked Kimmy, but I was like, girl, you really doing a lot right now. Like, you're doing a lot. Now, while this is going on, we see where Margot and Makia, the etiquette lady. I knew I was supposed to write these names down. Damn it. They went for massages, and they kind of talked about, what happened, right? Yeah, it got happy, but she went too far. Yeah, that's how I feel about a half pin. Like, I get it, but I feel like she kind of went a little too far, But Micah. Okay, Micah. They go out for massages, and they sort of talk about what happened. And Margot was telling Micah, listen, well, let me tell you what happened in the car. Like, let me tell you what Kimmy said when we were in the car on the way home, and how nasty Kimmy got with it. She says, I feel like I gotta tell Mitzi what was said. And Micah was like, yeah, I can see why you would feel that way, like, I can see why you would feel like you have to kind of share that information. So the ladies have the massages. Next, we go over to Mark's house. Now, baby, Mark's house looks like exactly how I think Mark's house would look, right? I feel like Mark's house, it looks like old money, and I would expect it to look like old money, right? Very gilded, look like a museum, scared to sit down, scared to touch anything, right? I could absolutely see that being Mark's style. So Mark is hosting Kimmy and Emma, where they sort of have their own conversation about it. And we found out that Emma actually had got really sick when she was pregnant with her child. And she said that a lot of those symptoms are starting to come back. And so she's dealing with some illnesses and some medical issues. And so we got a chance to kind of learn a little bit about her story about that, with her story. Kimmy lets it be known that but no, I'm sorry. We saw Kimmy talking to Mark and telling Mark what happened. And Mark was like, so everybody was just crying. He was like, yeah, I'm glad I left. Like I got out of there in enough time, like I didn't want to have all of that. So when they got together, they sort of talked about it a little bit as well. And we found out that that Kimmy is hosting an event, child. She's having an event and inviting the people to come over. We see Mitzi talking to her sister. Her sister is actually living in Dubai. She's married to a soccer player. She's in Dubai. And what's up, JB? Hey, boo. They're talking about, she's letting her know, look, I opened up to these people about my brother. That's not a story I tell often, and I thought, basically she felt like she was in a safe space to have these conversations, and she thought it really went well, right? She thought the conversation went well. Her sister's going to come and visit, and they're going to go visit her brother's grave. She said she hadn't been there since Mark, in my opinion, is a messy queen with no soul. He's definitely messy. He is definitely messy. But the one thing I would say about Mark, and I would say this about Kimmy too, like, where you stand with them. You may not like where you stand with them, but I don't think there's but we're gonna get to Miss Kimmy, because like I said, Kimmy, girl, we're gonna get to her. So Margot, Micah, and Kimmy go out to lunch. Wait a minute, hold on, child. Let me make sure I'm doing this in the right order, Lord. No, I'm sorry. Margot meets up with Mitzi. And Margot tells Mitzi what happened. She tells Mitzi what Kimmy said in the car, and, just how flippant Kimmy was about what happened with her brother and her sharing that story. Now, let me say this. Kimmy lost her shit. We're going to get to that in a minute. But Kimmy lost her shit when she found out that Margot told Mitzi what happened. And what I found to be interesting, when I was watching this episode, in my mind, I was thinking, what's the difference between Margot telling Mitzi what was said and when Mitzi did it to the girl that left the show, right? Like, I feel like it was the same mindset of, let me let you know what was said about you that could be hurtful to you, that might bother you. That's my opinion. But okay. Now, let me make sure I get this right, because it was Martha, Kimmy, and Micah. Child, these people, hold on, let me get it in the right order, child. No, that's the next episode. Child, I told y'all I was trying to refresh my memory real quick. That was the next episode. So Kimmy is having her event. It's a painting event. Again, y'all know how I feel about these reality shows doing back-to-back events. It's the same thing. Beverly Hills did this at the beginning of the season when Jennifer Tilly had the painting at her house and the man was naked. And I feel like we did the exact same thing. What I found to be very interesting is that Mark was so uncomfortable with that naked man standing there. And I'm thinking to myself, you done probably seen more naked men than anybody else in this room. I really think he was turning red at the thought of that naked man standing in front of him. Like, Mark was really like, oh my goodness, I can't. Oh. I was like, are you really this disturbed, Mark? Hello? Anyway. So after the ladies and Mark get done painting, and they're, you know how they have to sit down and have some wine and some food or whatever. Is the guy on this show gay? Yeah, I'm pretty certain he's gay. Yeah. Missy asked to go talk to Kimmy off to the side, and Missy lets Kimmy know that she's upset at what was said. Now, instead of Kimmy saying, listen, ain't no one getting naked with Mark. I believe they are. I don't believe that. Mark got money too. Yes, they are. They throwing it back. Yes, they are. Hey, Carmen. What I have a problem with, Kimmy, is all you had to say was, listen, girl, it just got real heavy for me. It was no longer a fun thing for me. I'm sorry about what happened to your brother. And I do appreciate that you felt comfortable enough to share that with us. But it was just a lot. And it made for a really heavy afternoon. And yeah, I vented about it on the way home. That's it. That's all. But for you to act like what you said wasn't that bad, and for you to act like you don't think Mark is handsome, I think Mark is handsome. For you, oh, child, they said my groceries gonna be here in 3 minutes, honey. Okay. For you to act like what you said wasn't a problem, and you try to deny it and act like you didn't say what you said. That's the first thing I had a problem with. Kimmy, stop acting like you didn't say it, girl. You said it, and it was rude, and it was disrespectful. What you said was rude and very disrespectful. So let's start there. It was rude. Number two, you tried to make it seem like you don't even know me that well to be telling me your business like that. Like, why would you even open up to me? You don't know us like that. She's like, do you really feel like you know us well enough to tell us all of that? Missy was like, yeah. Because the whole purpose of that, like Missy said, was for them to get to know each other better. Was for them to get to know each other. So, I mean, does everybody choose to share their deepest, darkest secret? No. However, some people choose to go deeper than others. You know? Then you got mad at Margot because Margot was the one that repeated it. Why are you mad at Margot? Because you was Billy Badass in the car when Margot was trying to tell you. Because it's not like, let's not sit here and act like Margot didn't try to tell you, hey, girl, that's a lot. You're being a bit harsh. You're doing too much. I don't think this, like, you're not being sensitive. This woman, her brother died. Like, she tried to talk to you about it, Kimmy. So we're not going to sit here and act like she didn't try to have a conversation with you and tell you, hey, I think you're being rude. Like, I think you're being disrespectful. You're not being sensitive to her brother's situation. So that's the part that really pissed me off, is that instead of Kimmy just saying, look, maybe I went too far, but I really am sorry. And I see how what my words affected you. And I'm really sorry. But that bullshit ass apology you gave when you were like, well, I mean, if I offended you, I'm sorry, but that's just who I am. Bitch, what? That's just how you are. See, that's where you would have got cussed out. That's where Missy was supposed to cuss your ass out. But again, we filming a show. We got to play, we got to drag this shit out. We got to play nice, But now Kimmy is pissed off at Margot because she's mad at Margot for actually repeating it and telling it. That's what she's mad at Margot about. So this was the scene that I was talking about. So in the next episode, so now we're on to episode 5. Kimmy, Martha, and Micah are going out to lunch. Now, Miss Micah, I caught you in a non-etiquette moment. Micah, I caught you in a non-etiquette moment, girl. You started eating before everybody got their food. That's not what you're supposed to wait for everybody to get their food before you start eating. And I rewound it and I was like, wait a minute. That's not, because Kimmy didn't have her food. And you started eating. Now, it's not a big deal. I ain't tripping, but you miss manners. You're supposed to know better. And again, it could be editing. It could be how it was spliced together, But anyway, so I just thought that's a little thing, child. It's not that serious. It's not that serious. He's handsome, but his attitude is stank. Yeah, but it's a whole lot of people with stank attitudes that keep a man and keep a woman because they're handsome and they're rich. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. I understand what you're saying, Chuck, but I mean, he handsome and he's rich. A lot of people put up with a stank attitude for handsome and rich. You know what I'm saying? I think that's my groceries, y'all. Hold on. I think I hear somebody getting to come up my door. Hold on. Not yet. They said they would be here in 3 minutes, but it's still saying arriving in 3 minutes, so they'll be here in a few minutes. It's okay. Oh, let me see where it says they are. Okay, say he heading to me, so he should be here in a few minutes. Anyway, so while the ladies are sitting down talking, that's when Kimmy is telling Martha and telling Micah that she's really upset with Margot. She said, she said, I think me and Micah are good now. Like, we talked it out. Not Micah, Mitzi, I think we're good now. We talked it out. But at the same time, I really have a problem with her going back and telling, like, I'm pissed off at her now. And Martha is kind of playing the middle a little bit. And Martha was like, well, I feel like I'm in the middle. And Kimmy was like, you're not in the middle. I'd never be mad at you. And I'm like, By the end of this episode, she's singing a different tune. But okay, we're going to let that sit there for a minute. Let that marinate over there. Because by the end of this episode, Kimmy is yelling at Martha, talking about, you didn't defend me. You didn't have my back. But anyway, Colette and her husband, they have their gender reveal. We know that was it Jolette? We know that they're cute. They're cute. They say that they're a traditional, non-traditional couple. From the outside, it looks like they're not very traditional, but on the inside, they're very traditional. He brings her flowers and she cooks dinner at night, that kind of thing. So we see the families getting together and they're having this gender reveal. Now, I thought it was interesting when she was talking to Mitzi and who was it? Mitzi and Margot. They were telling her to get a nanny, and Margot was like, oh, yeah, I had 3 nannies, yeah. And Mitzi was like, you get you a night nurse. Maybe Jolette was like, I ain't grew up like that. Like, my mom had 4 kids, and she raised all of us, and she didn't have nannies and stuff, and I kind of don't feel like I need all of that. Like, I know that that's the thing that I'm supposed to do, but I don't kind of feel like I need to do it. We did get to see her dad. Remember, and when everybody was sharing their deepest, darkest secrets, her dad had been sick, so it was good to see him. She talked about how well he had recovered and how well he was doing, so it was really good to see him. And she was saying, listen, a gender reveal is more of an American thing, but because of TikTok and because of things like that, we're seeing this more and more. We're seeing gender reveals in Great Britain happening more and more. So we're kind of just doing our thing or whatever. So they did a cake, and it was a fancy cake, but it was, excuse me. It's one of those cakes, you cut it, and if the inside is, I think it was like a raspberry sorbet cream or a blueberry, blah, blah, blah. But it's blue, so they're having a boy. So that was really, really cute. So it's a boy, they're having a boy. So here we see Margot in her house, which it looks nice. I mean, it's one of those houses, like, every room is painted a different colors, very bright, very, and Mitzi comes over, and Mitzi was like, listen, if she like it, I love it. Like, I don't know if I want to live in a house with an orange entranceway and a blue bedroom and a pink bedroom, but if she like it, I love it. You know what I mean? Like, if that's what she wants and that's where she wants to live, baby, have at it. So Margot is talking to Martha. Now remember, Margot and Martha are very close, right? And she's letting Margot know how Kimmy is mad at her and what Kimmy said when she went out to lunch, saying, listen, she just didn't really appreciate that, you know, you were the one that sort of passed the information. And, you know, she kind of mad at you right now. And of course, Margot was like, what? I didn't do nothing. Like, she shouldn't have said this shit. And for her to try to put it back on me instead of taking responsibility for what she said, but she's trying to throw it back at me. Don't put it out. Don't put it on me. Like, I didn't do anything wrong. All I did was tell Mitzi what was being said. So Margot ends up having the ladies over. So it's almost like the group is starting to split. And y'all know that's never a good thing for reality shows when the group looks like they're starting to split. So we have Margot, Mitzi, Micah, and then we have Mark, Emma, Kimmy, Martha. So they're all, it's one of those things where they're both eating. Oh, my groceries are here. They're both eating. I mean, Lord, I said eating. Yeah, they're both eating, but they're separate. So Margot had the ladies over her house to have lunch, and then Mark and them are out and they're having lunch. And it was so funny because, okay, let me go get my order. And it was so funny because baby Missy was mad because Missy was like, now listen, I understand that we got a pregnant lady among us, but I'm not pregnant. Like, I can appreciate that she had sparkling wine for everybody. I mean, sparkling water and non-alcoholic drinks, but I'm not pregnant. Can I have some alcohol? And then Emma was hosting Mark and the rest of them over at her house, and they were saying how Emma is such a talented cook, and they showed what she was putting together, and she does, baby. That stuff looks so good. And she was saying how she's been featured on cooking shows and that kind of stuff. So she was like, I'm sort of professional because I've gotten paid to cook, but no, I don't have any like formal training, to cook. Hold on, y'all. I'm sorry. I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. Now, this is where things take a dark turn. And again, I have not watched the rest of the episodes, so I don't know how deep this went and how dark it went. But here's my problem. I have an issue when I feel like people are converging and becoming bullies. And this is where I think Chuck was talking about, where now they're having this conversation and now all of them are ganging up about Margot. Oh, Margot's different. Oh, Margot, she's bragging and she's talking about her designer clothes and excuse me. No, excuse me. And all the money she's spending on her a new apartment, and like they were like, and she's changed when she left. And like they're basically saying when she went to America, it changed her. And she's been in America too long because she came back and she's so braggadocious and she's so talking about how much something costs and all the different designers and stuff like that. And so the whole conversation basically ended up being a bashing Margot session. And I didn't like that because I felt like, once again, Kimmy, girl, you were wrong. All you had to do was acknowledge that woman's feelings. And if you have an issue with the fact that Margot carried it back, then fine, make that a separate issue. But don't make it seem like it's Margot's fault that Mitzi got her feelings hurt. No, it's your fault that Mitzi got her feelings hurt because you're the one that put it out there to hurt Mitzi's feelings. Like, let's not twist this into something it's not. And I didn't like the tone of that conversation because, like, now we're just going to sit around and talk about Margot's a horrible person and she's so materialistic and she's so this and she's so that. And I'm like, I just didn't like it because it just seemed like it took a really, really nasty turn. Now, the ladies on the other side, they were having their conversation as well, but it wasn't as vicious. They were talking about Kimmy and Margot feeling like her and Kimmy need to have a talk, and her and Mitzi need to talk because, you know, she was like, well, Mitzi, where do you stand with Kimmy? And Mitzi was like, well, I mean, I thought we were good, but she didn't really apologize. She just kind of said, oh, well, that's who I am. Love me or leave me kind of thing. So the last thing we see, and look at this, I went through both of these episodes in 27 minutes, child. The last thing we see is Kimmy and Mitzi meeting up. I don't know about y'all, but I still don't feel like Kimmy acknowledged. I mean, her apology was better than the first apology, but I still feel like she's trying to find a way to not make herself culpable for how she made that woman feel. Like, I still feel like she did not accept how she made that woman feel. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I just don't feel like at the end of that conversation, I would have, if I were Mitzi at the end of that conversation, I would still be confused. Like, so are you sorry or nah? Like, did you not mean to hurt? Like, I still would be confused. Now, we also got to see Micah is starting a business. She's creating a television show with puppets to teach kids about manners. She said, you know, listen, people assume that because I'm the manners lady that my kids have perfect manners and they know how to act in public. And she was like, that's just not the case. Kids are kids. Kids are going to be kids. And I still have the same issues that other people have with their kids in public. And so she's and I thought, I'm going to say this. Do I think it's going to be a major hit? I don't know. But I thought it was a cute concept to do the puppets to teach kids about manners. You know, I think that she had a thought out vision. She had a storyboard. You know, it was a clear vision. It wasn't a mess. It wasn't all over the place. She had a production. She had puppets. I thought it was a cute idea. Now, if it's going to go somewhere, I don't know. If it's going to catch on, I don't know. But I definitely feel like this isn't something she just made up out of nowhere. I think, and it is with her brand. You know, now do I expect kids to have perfect manners everywhere? But no, there's certain things that kids should know what to do or what not to do in public. You know what I mean? And especially if they go to certain things. If you go to nicer events or nicer restaurants, there are certain things kids should know. And as they get older, the expectations should be a little bit more as they continue to get older. That's just kind of where I am with it. I agree, Chuck. I think Missy accepted that apology just to move on. Like, I'm done with it. This is the best it's gonna get. She ain't gonna give me nothing more than what I'm getting. So let me just accept it, child. Let me just accept it. So I'm gonna watch the next 2 episodes. I'm about to eat my dinner, y'all. I'm gonna watch the next 2 episodes. I don't know when we're gonna review them, but I'm gonna try to get those done. I'm gonna try to get those done ASAP. And we definitely want to get Beverly Hills, the finale, because the reunion starts Thursday night. So I'm gonna try my best. To get that stuff in. I know we're behind, but we're gonna make it do what it do. With that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Mwah! Peace.